He
He read.
he read.
Yeah, he read.
It's in the sheet I just gave you. All right, so let's go ahead and go. Did you find it? It should be like in the third or fourth column. He read.
Yeah, last one of third from the right side.
What is it?
Para.
Tara.
Qara.
Tara is
Yeah. Qara. What's the first word from the Quran revealed?
Iqra.
Iqra.
Ikra. Bismi rabbika al-a'la.
What are you looking at?
So we're gonna let's start with reviewing the pronouns. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen, Nabina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbana zidna ilman ajma'in wa 'allimna al-kitab amin. Okay, let's so someone say all of the pronouns. Brother Najmi.
Huma huma hum.
Without looking at the board.
Huma huma hum.
Yes.
Hiya huma hunna. Anta antuma antum. Anti antuma antunna. Ana nahnu.
Okay. Someone else. Sister Shireen. Without looking at the board, say all the pronouns.
Huwa huma hum.
Mhm.
Hiya huma hunna.
Mhm.
Anta antuma antum. Anti antuma antunna. Ana nahnu.
MashaAllah. Sister Tahra, do you remember all the pronouns?
Huwa huma hum.
Yes.
Hiya huma hunna.
Mhm.
Anta. Medicine? No.
Anta.
Anta antum antunna.
Anta antuma. Anta antuma antum.
Anta antumma antum.
Okay.
Anti antunna.
Antuma.
Antunna.
Mhm.
Ana nahnu.
Ana nahnu. Okay. Paul.
Huwa huma hum.
Mhm.
Hiya huma hunna.
Mhm.
Anta antuma antum.
Mhm.
Anti antuma antunna.
Mhm.
Ana nahnu.
MashaAllah. How about you, Brother Anwar?
Huwa huma hum. Hiya huma hunna.
Mhm.
Anta antum antum.
Anta antuma antum.
Anta antuma antum.
Mhm.
Antum.
Anti.
Anti antuma antunna. Ana nahnu.
MashaAllah. Sister Tahra. Without looking.
Huwa huma hum.
Mhm.
Hiya huma.
Hiya huma.
Hiya huma hunna.
Mhm.
Anta antuma antum.
Mhm.
Anti antuma antunna. Ana nahnu.
Okay. Brother Afnan, how about you?
Huwa huma hum.
Sing it.
Huwa huma hum.
Yeah, you gotta sing it right.
Hiya huma hunna.
Yes.
Anta antuma antum.
Mhm.
I forgot the other tone, but I'll just keep going.
Okay.
Anta antuma antum. Anti antuma antunna. Ana nahnu.
Ana nahnu. There you go. All right. So basically, what we're gonna do is go through all of the verbs, how to say all of the verbs um, with these 14 pronouns, right? So if you remember on Wednesday, we said if you want to say to go in the past tense, what do you say in English? Went, right? And it's the same if you say I went, he went, she went, they went, we went, right? It's all the same. There's no changing. But in Arabic, there's change, okay? But the easy thing is, or the silver lining is that once you know the pattern for one of them, then you see the list of all the verbs that you have. once you know the one pattern, you know all of them. So we're gonna do one verb, and then I can ask you, I can give you any verb from that list, from the first two lines, or first three lines, the first three columns, starting from the right, and then you can tell me the how to make it for any of those. Okay. So we're gonna work with that list. Those are just verbs. So what did we say? So what does this say? So all of those verbs they're translated to he did something, right? He ate, he slept, he did what? So why is it all he? Are you answering the question? Someone, yes, someone answer the question. It's the what form? It's the generic form, right? So in English, if you want to say a verb, you say like to eat, to sleep, to dress. But in Arabi, you're gonna say it like jalasa or whatever nama. What? So why when we say like zahaba, which is to go, why is it written as um, why is it translated as he went? So the answer is because all of the Arabic verbs, in their initial stage, they're conjugated. They're for masculine in the past tense and singular. For he went, right? By default, right? And then so that's why we're going to start with huwa, and then we're going to add or we're going to change the zahaba into other forms. If you have different pencils or a pencil or a pen, it's good. I should have asked you to do that in the email, but I forgot. But it's okay. You can just circle. So I'm gonna be using different colors to show the different parts of the verb. Okay. Um, so we're gonna write all 14 of them, inshallah. All right. So for huwa, if I'm talking about he, and I want to say he went, how do I say it? Zahaba, right? So it's the same, right? So every time you have zahaba, you don't change anything. You just say zahaba. Okay. Um, so that's the basic form. And then we also mentioned that every three-letter verb, you can put it into this generic pattern of fa'ala, right? So every three-letter verb can be broken down into three parts, right? So what's the first root called? Fa. In Arabic, it's called the fa kalima, right? Fa kalima. So you would say this is the fa kalima. Okay. So this is the fa kalima because it's also known as in English the first radical. First radical or first root. Okay. So fa'ala, the fa is the first radical, it's the first root. The ain is called the ain kalima. Right? Okay, and that's which radical is it? Second radical. Okay. And the lam is called the lam kalima. Third radical. Third radical. Okay. So in dhahaba, what's the first radical? The. Okay. What's the third radical? Ba. Ba. Okay. What if I say what's the ain kalima? Ha. Right. Ha is in the middle, so the middle root is the ain kalima. Okay. What's the fa kalima? The. Fa kalima is first, right? So the za is the first. So for any verb that I give like kataba, okay, you should be able to tell me what's the fa kalima, what's the ain kalima, right? So these are just rules.
I think in the website instructor, I think he touched this a little bit way early.
Yeah, it was early. We left it off till the end.
You also mentioned the first and third radical will be fatah.
Yes. So when we So let's look at a verb from this list. Okay. So look at the first column from the right side. What's the first verb there? Okay. So the first verb is what? Nasara.
Nasara.
Okay. So there's a fatha on the noon, there's a fatha on the sad, there's a fatha on the ra. Okay. Go to the next column, the one to the left of that. What's the verb? Daraba. So these are all fathas, right? Fatha, fatha, fatha on each radical. Okay. What's the next one?
Fatha.
Fataha. So this is a fa fatha, da fatha, and ha fatha. Okay, so all of these up till now have been fathas. What's the next one? Karuma. Karuma. Okay, what's the next one after that? Sami'a. Okay, and then what's the next one? Last one?
Isaba. Hasiba.
Hasiba. Okay, so in those ones, what do you notice about the ayn radical, the second radical?
Second radical will be either Dhamma
Or
Kasra
or
double Dhamma
or fatha.
Fatha.
So you notice that the second root letter is changing, but the first and the third root letter, what are they doing? Are they changing? No. So the first, the fa kalima and the lam kalima, they don't change. Okay? So they're always going to stay fatha. Don't change. Don't change. Okay? But the ayn kalima, it can be dhamma, it can be fatha, or it can be kasra. Okay? That's why this is why they've broken it down into different columns. Okay. So for now, dhahaba we're working with, it has all fathas. Okay. There's going to be a slight change when we get to home, but that's mainly because of pronunciation. Okay? All right.
Is there any reason that they changed?
It's just a verb. So this is how they spoke. So when the verb sami'a means to hear, so this is how the Arab was spoken. You would say he heard sami'a. That's just, so this breakdown is what people who came afterwards, they tried to classify the verbs into different categories. So this is the breakdown that they came up with, but it wasn't. It just used to be like that. Okay. All right. So for when we say huwa, we say dhahaba. Okay. Now, if I want to talk about two people going, I'm going to start off with the same verb. I'm going to write the, ha, ba. Okay. But I'm going to add something to it. What am I going to add? A what? An alif. So I'm going to say zaha ba. So I'm going to put an alif right after the ba. Okay. So I'm going to say zahaba. So this is zahaba. Everyone say zahaba. Okay. And this is zahaba. Okay. So there's a difference. There's a spelling difference. There's a pronunciation difference. But if you're hearing it like very, very fast, you might not pick it up. So now I have to look. Okay. The other thing was we talked about the breakdown of verbs, right? So what did we say? That there's two parts to a verb. Okay. There's the subject, and then there's the verb or the action. So if so in Arabic the subject is called fa'il, and then the action is called, the verb is called fi'il, right? Fi'ilun. So every verb will have a doer of that verb, the fa'il, and it will have the verb itself. Okay? So the reason I wrote dhahaba, the alif in red, is because the alif in dhahaba is the doer, is the fa'il. Okay? So if you have a different pencil, you can write it down with that, but if you don't, you can just circle it. So if you circle it, just write alif is the fa'il, it's the doer of the verb. Okay?
And alif will be the subject.
Alif is the subject. Yes. So the subject is the same as the fa'il, is the same as the doer. Okay? So for every verb that you get, you will have a fi'il and a fa'il. If I ask what the fi'l is, what would you say for this one? ذهب. So you, if I say circle the verb portion of it, you would just circle up till here. Okay, you would just circle that portion, and you would say that's the verb. If I said circle the fa'il, you would put a circle around the alif, and you would say that's my subject. Okay. What about ذهب? Where's the subject in ذهب? It's hidden. So huwa is, you would put a star next to it, and you would say that the subject is hidden. In Arabi, this is mustatir. So the verb is there. If I ask you to circle the verb, you're just gonna circle the whole thing. The whole thing is the verb. Where's the doer? It's hidden. Okay, it's implied. It's tacit inside of it. Okay? So we have huwa ذهب, huma ذهبا. If I want to say they went, I'm going to start off with the same thing. ذهب, ذهب. Okay. What am I going to add to ذهب? A wow. Okay. Okay. And whenever I have something ending with wow, I have to add an alif. Right? This is a spelling rule.
So where is that wow coming? Is that because in the other one the alif is getting from the woman.
Yeah, you can think of it like that. Is just, yeah. You can think of it maybe the home, the who. I don't know. It doesn't really that doesn't really why. That's not really why. But you, in this case, the wow is your fa'il. But to make, instead of saying ذهبوا, this fatha on the ba, it becomes a dhamma. Okay? So here you would say ذهبوا. ذهبوا. So they went is ذهبوا.
You have to put alif there.
Yeah. So the alif is not the fa'il. Okay. If I say where is the fa'il, you're just gonna say it's the waw. So if you have to circle the fa'il, it's the waw. Okay. If you have to circle the fi'il, the verb, you're gonna circle ذهب. ذهب is your verb. The waw is your fa'il, and the alif is just a spelling rule. Okay. So ذهب.
Must, right? It's not exception. No, I mean every word.
That this alif.
With wa, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost every word it has an alif with a waw. Okay. All right. So we have he went ذهب, they two went ذهبا, hum ذهبوا, they all went. Okay. When I get to here, I'm going to start off with the same ذهب. ذهب. Okay. What am I going to add to it? Ta. ذهبت. ذهبت.
Is that coming from the attached pronoun?
Which one?
That because in that we have ta, right? When you attach to the noun,
No.
ta
You attach ha. Right? If I say her car, I say sayyaratu ha. So it's not coming from there. This ta is called ta'u ta'nis. Yep, ta'u ta'nis. Okay. So, where is the verb? ذهب, right? So you would circle ذهب. Where is the subject? Where's the fa'il? It's hidden in here. So I didn't. So notice I've been putting red for the fa'il, right? Alif, waw. In this case, I didn't write it in red because this ta, like I said, is ta'u ta'nis. It is not the subject. It is not the fa'il. So just like huwa, the fa'il in here is mustatir. It's hidden. You don't have to know mustatir. You can just say it's hidden. So huwa and here, the fa'il, the subject, the doer of the verb is hidden. Okay?
For that rule, what was that rule for having dhamma there?
I'm not sure if it's just pronunciation, but this is how it's been. Like it's just how it is. So instead of saying ذهبوا, you just say ذهبوا. They went. last one before we get to the second column. So we have ذهب, who he went, ذهبا, they two went, ذهبوا, they all went, ذهبت, she went. When I say two of them, this huma is talking about two women, right? So I'm going to start off with ذهب, ذهب, ذهب. All right. Now they're two women. So what am I going to add? التاء والتأنيث. Okay. تاء والتأنيث. Okay. And it's two of them. So what did I add for two men? An alif. So the same thing I'm going to add for huma. I'm going to add an alif. Okay. So you have ذهبتا. The verb is ذهبتا for two women going, or they went. So this has three. So just like so this has all three parts. So you have the verb. If I say break it down, where's the verb? Where's the fi'l? What are you gonna circle up to? ذهب, right? So ذهب is always here, 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 here. Your verb. Okay. What's the ta doing here? It's the ta ta'neen. Ta ta'neen. Okay. And the alif is the subject. Is the fa'il. So ذهبتا. Okay. All right. Let's go down this. ذهب. Everyone. ذهب.
ذهب
ذهبا.
ذهبا
ذهبوا.
ذهبوا
ذهبت.
ذهبت
ذهبتا.
ذهبتا.
Okay. So these five pronouns, they will always be on this pattern. Okay. If I ask you to say kataba. Kataba. Okay. So let's do it for kataba with these five. So ready? Kataba.
كتب
Kataba.
كتب
Katabu.
كتبوا
Katabat.
كتبت
Katabata.
كتبتا.
That's it. Okay. So you just did you just did five of them. So you can take any verb from that. I don't have. I have to get another one. So I'll give you another one, inshallah. So any verb from that list you can take and you can do these five. Cool. Let's take 3-minute break and then we'll come back and do the rest of them.
Is that what is called conjugation?
Is this what?
Is this conjugation?
Yeah. Learning how to say all of them, right? Yeah.
These are not all the verbs, right?
No, these are just samples. Not most. Yeah, they're pretty common. I mean, probably like hundreds of thousands. Really? 60,000 roots for Arabic.
Actually, have a thick book specifically for all the conjugation.
Does it say how many it has?
It's not all of it.
Yeah, oh, some of them.
It's just like 2,000.
Did you live in Saudi Arabia for some time? India? How long have you been there? 3 months? What do you do? You're a software engineer? He's looking for that job. Brother Afnan, he works in your line.
Not entirely. He guys from the new company, right? They always assign a few guys there. They work as a transition people, so they gather all the information from the existing client and they put together and they take the help of the new company's IT person, right? They take their inputs and they come up with some sort of SOPs or documentation so that the new batch will be working there. It will be easier for them.
So you are the initial setup.
Infrastructure.
So you have to set up the rack and.
No, I don't, the team who works for me.
So you're the manager there?
Not actually,
So you do the communication.
I used to do it. Now I just manage the teams.
So what's your background, computer science? In India?
All right, let's do the rest of them. Before that, let's just go through these again, okay? So we've done 5 of them, 5 pronouns, right? He, they, she, and they. So let's go again. ذهب,
ذهب
ذهب,
ذهب
ذهبوا,
ذهبوا
ذهبت,
ذهبت
ذهبتا.
ذهبتا.
Okay, let's pick one from that list and then we'll do these 5. Let's do, did he wrote, huh? Darasa? Okay, let's do darasa, he studied. So, darasa,
درس
darasa,
درس
darasu,
درسوا
darasat,
درست
darasata.
درستا.
Easy, right?
Yeah.
Al-Wafuri.
Have some check, please.
This is where we, this is actually similar to this one, but we're just going to change it a little bit. Okay? So here we've been doing, all of these have ذهب, ذهبوا. So the first, second, and third radical have all had diacritical marks on them, right? So the ba has a fatha, here it has a fatha, here it has a dhamma, here it has a fatha, here it has a fatha. So the rule is, or the agreement is, that when you get to hunna, the ba gets a sukun. The rule is, when you get to hunna, I'm writing my verb, the first part of it. I get to my ba. Instead of putting a fatha like I do, I'm going to put a sukun. And the rule is, everything following hunna and then all the way till the end will have ba with sukun. So everything is going to be ذهب, 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 ذهب.
Also, regardless, all of them.
Yes. So the rule is that when you get to hunna and everything after hunna, the third radical, the third root gets a sukun. ذهب, 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 ذهب. Can everyone see the bottom? If you can't, let me know. Okay. So, how many are in this column with the ba with the sukun? How many are in this column?
9.
So there's 9 in this one, 9 pronouns, and this has 5, right? So you have 14 pronouns, right, all the way from third person to first person. So 5 of them, the third radical, it will have diacritical mark. When you get to hunna and the 8 that are following it, you have sukun. Okay, this will be for dhahaba, this will be for any verb in that first 3 columns. Okay? All right. So now we're talking about hunna. So we have the verb portion. You have dhahab. What am I going to add to make it a group of women? They went. A group of dhahabna. So I'm going to put dhahabna. Okay. Dhahabna. So notice how, so when we're going to be saying it, you're going to be saying all of them in one go, all 14 of them. So you're going to start off with dhahaba, dhahaba, ذهبوا. You're going to say she went, ذهبت. They two went, ذهبتا. As soon as you get to hunna, they all went, you're going to say ذهبنا. ذهبنا. Okay. So the noon is in red because the noon is the subject, fa'il. So the noon is the doer of that verb. ذهبنا. Okay. Which is the verb portion? ذهب. You just say ذهب is the verb. Okay. So the rest of them will all be ذهب. So what's you masculine? You went. ذهب. Close. It was in book one. What's for anta? You went. ذهبت. So I'm going to put a ta with a fatha. ذهبت. ذهبت, you went. Talking to one male. Alright. So I'm going to go from the beginning again. So he went, ذهب. They two went, ذهبا. ذهبوا, ذهبت, ذهبتا. As soon as I get here, ذهبنا. ذهبت. Okay. So you're going to make that switch as soon as you pass huma. Okay. All right. So we've done. All right. So notice how the ta came in here. So how is this ta different from this ta? So here you say ذهبت and here you say ذهبتا. This has a ta, this has a ta. But how is this ta different than this ta?
Because one has a kasra, fatha, and one doesn't have a
Okay. Is this the fa'il in this verb? Is this the doer? No, right? What's the doer in this in huma? The alif. So what's the ta doing here? Ta'u ta'neeth. Ta'u ta'neeth means it's to denote a feminine subject. Okay. But this ta, I put it in red because it's the actual doer of the verb. So if I say what's the fa'il, what's the doer in the habta, you're going to circle the ta, you're going to say the ta is the doer. Whereas in this case, you would not circle the ta, you would say the alif is the fa'il. In this case, what would you say? Where is the fa'il? Zahabat. Hidden. Right. All right, so after anta, zahabta, what's two of you? Zahab. Zahabtu ma. So we're gonna take this tu ma and we're gonna put it right here. Zahabtu ma. Interesting. Boiling your brain here. It's exactly like math. It's like we're gonna solve equations with Arabic. Okay. So zahabtu ma is two of you went. All right. What do you think? You all went is zahabtum. So we're gonna take the same tum from here and we're gonna put it in the zahabtum. Makes it easy, right? Okay. So notice how all of these, when we get to the second person, the you, where you're addressing the person, these all start with ta. Right? Zahabta, zahabtuma, zahabtum. So this ta is, like we said, is for the fa'il. So here the whole fa'il is tum. Here the whole fa'il is tuma. And here, ta. Okay. All right. Let's do up till here. So everyone say zahaba, zahaba, zahabu, zahabat, zahabata, zahabna, zahabta, zahabtuma, zahabtum. Okay, let's pick a verb. Someone say a verb from the first three columns. Huh? Dakhala. What's dakhala? He entered. Dakhala. He entered. Okay, this is in the Quran. So let's do it. Dakhala. 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 Dakhalu. Dakhalu. Dakhalat. Dakhalat. Dakhalata. Dakhalata. Dakhalna. Everyone, dakhalna. So here, just so I'm showing where it comes from. Dakhal. So the third radical we say always gets a sukun, right? And then you put a noon. Dakhalna. Okay. Dakhalta. Dakhaltuma. Dakhaltum. Okay. What's she entered? She entered. Dakhalat. So I'm going to start off with dakhala. So when I get to the hiya, I'm going to add a ta with that means dakhalat. Okay. How do I say they all entered a group of men? Dakhalu. So remember, you have to. This is second person. This is third person. So they, if I'm talking about a group of them, dakhalu. Okay, it's okay. We're gonna do more practice. All right. Let's go back to anti. So the habta is you male went. What's you female went? The habti. So it's just like the habta, except there's a kasra on the ta. When you're reading it, you might not see this, but by the context you can figure it out. The habti. All right. What about two of you women? The habtuma. So I'm going to take the same tuma and I'm just going to put it here. Okay. So what's the difference between this dhahabtuma and this dhahabtuma? There's no change, right? Two of you men and two of you women, they have the same spelling, they have the same rule. Okay. How do you know what you're talking about? It depends on the context. But the spelling is the same. All right. So that's two of you women. What about all of you women? Tunna. So I'm going to take the tunna again from here and I'm just going to move it to here. Dhahab tunna. Okay. So everything I'm writing in red is the subject, the fa'il. Okay. And what's for I went? Or I, yeah. Dhahaba. Dhahabtu. So I'm going to put a ta. This fa'il is a ta with a dhamma. Dhahabtu, I went. So don't confuse it with dhahabta, which is you went. Dhahabti, you have to pick it up. But we're going to say it so many times that it's going to be like coming out your ears. Yeah, so there's nothing in ana that would suggest dhahabtu. It's just the way it is. All right, last one. We went. Dhahabna. Dhahabna. So noon alif. I know, right? There's a mind twist here. So this is noon alif, and this is just noon. So they went, a group of them, versus we went. So everyone say this one. Dhahabna. Dhahabna. Okay, now listen to me say this. Dhahabna. Dhahabna. So here the alif makes it the noon longer a little bit. Okay. So you're gonna need to know the difference. If you just see one noon there, it's talking about third person women. You see the noon alif there, it's talking about first person us. That was basically it. So what we're going to do in the last few minutes is basically we're going to practice, all right?
Past tense, right?
So this is all, yes, past tense. So this is, we're all learning to say you or someone did something in the past. So all we're going to focus on in the first half of the book is past tense, okay? The second half of book 2 is like present, it's fi'l amr, which is commanding. But if you get a good grasp on this now, then the present tense will be easy, piece of cake.
There is a regular.
Sorry?
Can you give an example of something that's in past tense, like dahabat is past, and that's present tense, I'm sorry.
So when we get to present tense, you say you have to add something to the beginning of the verb, right? Like yadhab. Right? Yeah, so we don't want to deal with that right now. We're just focusing on the three-letter root and the endings that are the files in this case. All right?
In English, there are regular verbs and irregular verbs.
Mhm.
Arabic also has that.
Yes. So right now we're learning regular verbs. When we get to irregular verbs, we'll have change it slightly. Okay? But if you understand regular verbs, if you understand the base formula, then the irregular verbs will be easy. Okay? So let's go through these. ذهب
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 ذهبوا
ذهبوا
ذهبت
ذهبت
ذهبتا
ذهبتا
ذهبنا
ذهبنا
ذهبت
ذهبت
ذهبتما
ذهبتما
ذهبتم
ذهبتم
ذهبتي
ذهبتي
ذهبتما
ذهبتما
ذهبتن
ذهبتن
ذهبتوا
ذهبت
ذهبنا.
ذهبنا.
Okay? All right. Let's do another verb. Kharaja. Kharaja means he left or he went out. Okay? Dhahaba is he just went. Kharaja is to like exit from something. If you leave from a building, you would say kharaja.
But then the meanings are same there.
Yes.
دخل.
So opposite of kharaja is dakhala. Right, so dakhala is to enter and kharaja is to exit. Yeah. So if you go to like an Arab country, on an entrance you're gonna see dukhul, right? It means the entrance. And when you're leaving, you're gonna see khuruj.
Essentially, Zahab to go, Kharaj to go. You want to say somebody, Zahab.
No, that's fair amr. That's the commanding tense. So we're gonna learn that inshallah.
Now it's just.
So this is the past tense. So let's do it for kharaja. Ready? Kharaja.
خرج.
So just look at where the fa'il is and just attach to kharaja. So for huma kharaja,
خرج.
kharaju,
خرجوا.
kharajat,
خرجت.
kharajata,
خرجتا.
kharajna.
خرجنا.
So when you get to the hunna, this third root gets a sukun. So kharajna,
خرجنا.
kharajta,
خرجت.
kharajtuma,
خرجتما.
kharajtum,
خرجتم.
kharajti,
خرجتي.
kharajtuma,
خرجتما.
kharajtunna,
خرجتنا.
kharajtu,
خرجت.
kharajna.
خرجنا.
Okay, one more. Let's do.
جلس.
Okay, this time you guys do it. I'm not gonna say it. How about
جلس.
nazara? He looked. All right, hold on. This is in Bangla too. Nazar.
نظر.
Nazar
نظر لك.
Okay, it's in Urdu. All right. So this time all of you start. I'm gonna join in. Okay. So.
نظر.
Nazara.
نظر. نظر.
نظرنا.
نظرنا. نظرتم. نظرنا.
So I looked. Nazar. Nazartu, and we looked.
نظرنا.
Nazarna. Okay. How about?
You ask us in English, so maybe we can.
Okay. How would you say?
When you read, you can always put it in English so that.
Okay, I'll ask now. So how would you say she looked? Nazarat, right? So you take the ta, nazarat. How would you say you looked one man?
نظر
نظرت. نظرت. So you take you one man. نظرت. Okay. How about I left?
خرجت
خرجت. So you say خرجت. Okay.
they left. خرجت is they left, right?
خرجت is they too left, women. Okay. How about he entered one man? دخل. Just دخل. He entered one man. دخل. How about two men entered? دخلا. دخلا. Or a group of them entered? دخلوا. Okay. How about she entered one woman? Oh, sorry, she, yeah, دخلت. Okay, I meant you entered, or yeah, you entered one woman. Second person. دخلتي. So you take the lam, you put a sukun, and you add a t. دخلتي. Okay? Let's just do the row. Let's pick another one. Taraka. Taraka is he left. It's also
ترك also is
so
ترك means छोड़ना. Left छोड़ना.
not what?
Not left. Everything is left.
No.
Okay.
Taraka is
Pick something.
taraka is
Where is taraka?
छोड़ना, right?
It's in the first column.
عمل عمل عمل
Shakara.
شكر
Shakara is he thanked. All right, ready? Shakara.
شكر
Shakara.
شكر
Shakaru.
شكروا
Shakarat.
شكرت
Shakarata.
شكرت
Shakarna.
شكرانا
Shakarta.
شكرت
Shakartuma.
شكرتما
Shakartum.
شكرتم
Shakarti.
شكرتي
Shakartuma.
شكرتما
Shakartunna.
شكرتن
I thanked.
شكرتو.
Shakartu. We thanked.
شكرنا.
So we're gonna do these every single class. We're gonna go down that list. We're gonna pick two. We're gonna do them every single class. Shukran is the mastar
Taraka is to leave, right?
to leave it. Yeah.
The thing which we hold is to leave.
To leave it. Yep. Yep. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give homework, but it's a worksheet, but it's from book 1. Okay. Let me explain this. So bring the verb list to class. whenever you come. What I'm doing now is the homework for yeah. So let me explain this. So these are all of the pronouns, and you have to fill in the there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns that you have to attach the pronouns to them. Okay. So the first blank column is the third column from the page. So it says Kitabu Muhammadin, Muhammad's book. So this is what? In mudaf ilayhi, right? So you're gonna say Kitabuhu, his book, and you're gonna go down the whole list. So you're gonna say his book, Kitabuhu. What's their two book? Kitabuhuma, and what's their book? A group of them. Kitabuhum, Kitabuha, Kitabuhuma, all the way down. So just with kitab and then the attached pronoun. So if you want to remember it, just write kitabuhu in the first for huwa. Okay. The next one is almost the same, except you're putting fi in front of it. Fi kitab. So the first example they give is fi kitabihi, in his book. So notice how the kitabuhu becomes fi kitabihi. In his book. And then you have to say it for in their book, in her book, all the way down. So you're attaching all of the pronouns. The last 4 columns are just that harf jar attached to the, so if you want to say from him, min hu, from them, min huma, right? With all of them. So ilayhi, right? So we're gonna just fill them out, and we're gonna go. So and make sure for ilah, right? With who, it's not ilayhu, it's ilayhi. So note that down on that. So you don't mess up. Ilayhi. And also for for fi. So what's in him? Fihi. You don't want to say fihu. And then what's for ala on him? Alayhi. So so go down the whole for each pronoun. Okay. So that's your homework. So on the bottom it says, please note when a word ends with ya with sukoon, we attach it to the pronoun ya as it results in ya with a fatha. So basically what it's saying is if you want to say ila, right, with I, to me, so you're adding a ya with a sukoon, right? So instead of two yas with sukoons, it becomes ilayya. So they put a ya with a shadda and a fatha. Ilayya. Okay. We're gonna go over this on Monday, inshallah. Okay. Jazakallahu khair. Wassalamu alaikum.